Welcome back. It's the Drafter Party Day 2 with the Fantasy Joes, and joining us is Tyler Gee right now. Tyler, the host of the F3 podcast. What's going on, my friend?
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me on. Super excited to be here. Love the podcast. Love listening to you all. Just ready to talk some football. It's been the draft. It has been it. It's been such a draft. I've been having to have a draft. Beer, that is.
Is this so? As far as I don't know a lot about your experience, Tyler. As far as trying to project like rookie rankings and things like that, is this how many drafts have you done in the past?
I've been, as far as running a pod, I guess you could say, or running a whatever. I've only really been doing this for about a year. Doing podcasting and stuff like that. I mean, I've done my own personal projections and stuff like that. My oldest running Dynasty league is 5 or 6 years now. So that long. But as far as like using the Twitter, my Twitter is not even a year. My Twitter is not even a year old, if that tells you anything. So I went from a guy with like 1 follower a year ago to now I run a whole website. So I stay busy, but
I want to say just curious of how shocking this draft is, because to me this draft and the way it's gone this year has been super fun. It's just been kind of like a wild fantasy football position player speculation before the draft, and then the actual draft has turned out so differently. So I was just curious if like where it started for you and what your impression is of what's happened so far.
It's crazy. I mean, there's just, like I said, I mean, I've done my own kind of personal things. You kind of had what your expectations are. And I know that things will change, but we were actually talking about it before we even fired this up, that a lot of the people I was not too keen on before the draft are going to pretty good positions. And people I really like are sometimes landing in really odd positions, like Goddard to the Eagles. I was just like, what is going on? Like, I get the spiteful play. Anyways, I'm sure we need to go around the table and talk about who's all in here before we start, unleashing the wolf.
Yeah, it's a free-for-all. We've got DFF Shane joining us. He's the co-host of the Dynasty Trades HQ podcast. Shane, what's going on, my friend?
Nothing much. What is going on, fellas?
We're just reacting to this day 2, this wild day 2. And I think my first question, guys, is who is the 102? I mean, because I posted a poll in our chat that we've got going on, and I also posted something on Twitter, and I'll check the results. But it seems like all of a sudden this Darius guy slipping down the board has thrown people off. He was kind of locked into that 102, and now people are like, I don't know. So what do you guys think? Shane, Tyler?
Yeah, Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I got right now. I have it as and it's a soft 102. It is DJ Moore.
Oh, I don't know. I like DJ Moore. That's just too early for me, but I understand it. I think I have to go Geis. I think that he is slipping down the boards, but a lot of it was just attitude. And we knew about that, I think, before it. And I think that he's going to go to a place where he's going to be utilized. I mean, I don't know I don't know. I'm not excited as I was. It wasn't as locked in as it was. And I think Shane's right. It is a very soft 102 now. But I think what really gets really murky for me is that 103. I'm okay with the 102, but the 103, man, is a mosh pit for me right now, in my head at least.
And that's actually where I have Geis right now. And that's with, I want to see what comes out in the next few days. Rumors can take on a life of their own. And the rumor is he had an altercation with Deuce Staley, apparently. Deuce Staley's a pretty straightforward guy. And I got a feeling that either way, the record will be set straight in the next few days. At worst, I'm still not moving Geis below 1-3. Because that Washington spot, that's a good landing spot for him. He's got no competition to speak of. He's still the second best running back in this class. I don't care if he's the 7th off the board. So to me, he's at worst 1-3, unless it comes out that he actually punched Staley in the throat or something.
And then he moves up to
Staley talking about his mama, though. I respect that.
Yeah, and
short of that,
he punches somebody in the throat, he moves up to 1-1. Everybody knows that. Passion.
Aggressive.
Yeah. You want that in a running back.
I think
move over, Shaquan.
I think
Trey,
for
what do
me,
you think?
the only guy for me coming into this draft that had a chance to unseat Geis as the 102 was Nick Chubb. And the landing spot in Cleveland, I think long term I'm warming up to it. We talked about this last night. I'm still a fan of what Carlos Hyde can do, and I think Duke Johnson has a role there. I'm excited about that offense. I do think that Carlos Hyde probably is a 1 year solution there in Cleveland. So I think in the long run, Nick Chubb could end up being a value. But for me, I mean, and anyone that has a doubt, just go watch 2016 tape on Darius Geis. He's in Washington now, which is a great landing spot. So his draft stocks, fell a little bit because of some off the field concerns. And so did Joe Mixon's. And I anticipate that Joe Mixon this year is going to have an incredible breakout. So the talent, the draft capital is not quite where we like it. The landing spot, though, I mean, the landing spot's great. Washington, and I truly believe, and I know that there's a little bit of this floating around Twitter right now, that Darius Geis is going to have a chip on his shoulder. But talent is there. So for me, I was wondering a little earlier in the night. I do like some of these other Royce Freeman, but and I like Kerryon Johnson in Detroit, but I just don't. None of those guys, Sony Michel in New England, none of them for me are going to unseat Geis. He's a solid. It's the same way as it was kind of coming in with the first tier of Saquon Barkley and the second tier of Darius Geis, and then after that, the next 4 or 5 spots are just incredibly murky.
Yeah, I was actually talking about before we came on that this may be one of my favorite dynasty drafts. If you know what you're doing, I think that this could be one of those drafts that you want to trade back in some ways. With the murkiness of the 1-3, I'm fine going back to the 1-7 and getting some extra on top, whether that be a second or a vet of some sort or some kind of package like that. Because I feel like like Cortland Sutton. Okay, when he went to the Broncos, everybody kind of went. But I think that, and I talked about this before, is that Emmanuel Sanders has basically this year. The Broncos have there was rumors going around about how he was getting traded and stuff. There was talk about how Cortland Sutton has a lot to develop. Well, guess where he can go and develop those skills? Behind Demaryius Thomas, who I've heard him be comped to. So, I mean, you could very well be getting Sutton, who is he going to be sexy for 2018? Maybe not. I mean, behind all that, whatever. But in 2019, 2020, if we're talking dynasty, I believe that he can develop into that talent. And so I can get Cortland Sutton a lot cheaper because of his landing spot now. And I'm kind of actually excited about it.
Yeah, and Demaryius Thomas is I'm doing my own personal one-man mock draft right now. So I got my first 12 ranked, I think. And looking at Cortland Sutton, I've actually bumped him up already twice to 5. And looking at the Broncos situation, they only have about $5.5 million in cap space for 2019. Demaryius Thomas is supposed to eat up $17 million of that, but they can cut him and save $15 million.
Exactly.
So he's gone. Emmanuel Sanders is gone. They'll cut him and save $10 million. It's going to be Cortland Sutton and Carlos Henderson and Royce Freeman. Beautiful. Love Royce Freeman. But anyway, it's going to be those 3 that are, that's the next iteration of the Broncos offense with maybe Chad Kelly at quarterback.
Boy, that Chad Kelly, the dream still lives on.
Dude, it made it through 3 rounds, 3 full rounds. He's still alive.
Still alive. So where do you guys, who are your biggest risers and fallers then after tonight in terms of, looking at your draft board before the draft and now after? I mean, we're not done yet, but we've gotten through the most significant days of the draft. Trey, what about you? Who are your risers and fallers?
So my biggest riser is a guy that and I'm really kind of bummed because I was really hoping to be able to pick him up in the late second round or early third round of rookie drafts. And I think the draft capital today has kind of sealed the ascension that has been happening ever since we had Matt Waldman on, and he revealed that Dante Pettis was his number one wide receiver. I began to look more at Pettis, and I really liked what I saw. I liked the electricity in space, the return skills. I liked the route running. I liked the separation. I liked what he can do against press coverage. And so when everyone kind of was, waiting for the 49, right? Allen Robinson, if he went to the 49ers, was going to become like, wide receiver one for everyone in Dynasty for the rest of his life. This landing spot in San Francisco. And so for them to trade up and give up the draft capital they did and pick him 44th overall, and the guys that they, bypassed to take him, for me, he's a it's great landing spot. It's great draft capital on top of the fact that he has put some pretty impressive things on tape. And so while I do think that this class of wide receivers, next year when we're looking at these prospects that are being taken in next year's draft, we're gonna be ogling over the guys with wide receiver one upside. This year it's just not there, but this landing spot on top of the talent with the opportunity in the return game in an offense that I think is going to be pretty exciting to watch out in San Francisco, that he's probably my biggest riser, and I think he's going to move up draft boards. And then just real quick, the other guy that I'll throw in there, and I just mentioned him. I think both Kerryon Johnson and then Royce Freeman. I mean, Royce Freeman, I think, leapt up just because of some of these other guys that were ahead of him in my running back rankings. Their landing spot's not quite that great. He's moving up to a tier where he's going to be in consideration in that mid first, to be completely honest, because he goes to Denver where he's going to be, I think, probably in line for 1,000 to 1,200 yards of total offense and maybe double touchdowns. I think that his upside there is immense, and so I think that landing spot, I think, did great things for his dynasty value.
Tyler, what are you thinking over there? I heard you making some motions and reacting to what Trey was saying.
Oh, I was just doing the nasty. So, Book, I was just excited because I own Freeman in a Debbie league, and I got him relatively cheap. I liked Royce Freeman. I've been one of those people. I've been trying to sneak and grab him in Debbie leagues, or if a league is already drafting rookies. So I have him a little bit, and when he went to the Broncos, I was like, I can't picture a better spot. I mean, what else do you want? So he was a big riser for me. Same people. So I'm right on path. I think one person that is a big faller for me, and I hate to say this because I've been a lover of him, but I think it's John Kelly. The fact that Kerryon Johnson was, a big debate between him and John Kelly, their skill sets and like what they kind of brought. And we're going to the fourth round and John Kelly's still untouched. And that's a concern because when you start talking about a running back or wide receiver or whatever, draft pedigree does matter in some ways. And I think too, I forget, Ryan McDowell tweeted out today. He said, out of our top 50, rankings of running backs, or out of everybody, 40% come in the first round, 46% come in the first like 4 rounds, or first two through 4, I think. No, two.
Yeah, 2 and 3.
Second round and 2 and 3. There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, words and things. And so we're getting into that fourth. We're getting into that fourth round, and no John Kelly, no whispers of it, not even a thing. And that's concerning to me. So he's unfortunately kind of getting off my radar a little bit. I mean, he was getting high in the second for me, and I think he's slipping.
Yeah, it's I love the Royce Freeman landing spot, especially he had the Royce Freeman, and then on top of that, I think Kerryon Johnson is my biggest riser because he's going to have the famous tag of they traded up to get him, and
that's true.
And for whatever it's worth, regardless of what you believe in the Lions' offense and what they've done with the running backs in the past, that does matter And we've seen it. I mean, as far as recency biases go, I'm going to go full ham on recency bias and just say that they're going to use him right away, because why else would they trade up to get him? You don't go and get somebody like that unless you truly believe and you've done your studies on them. And that's kind of what happened last year. And everybody's like, I don't know yet. I don't know what's going on, like money situation in the backfield. And then you kind of see the results of that. And it's not like I expect him to be a running back one or anything like that. But when you're going into a rookie draft, where you had Kerryon Johnson before was like late first, depending on landing spot, of course. And maybe like he was going the second a lot of places. In one of our mock drafts, he didn't get drafted because we kind of forgot about him when we were chatting about it. And so I think he's easily going to be like a top, 8 rookie pick.
So what would be the highest you would take him? That's a question right there.
Yeah, I think I tend to. So for him, he's a big riser for me, but I think I'd go like 108.
Okay. Him or Ridley.
Pretty.
Oh, I think I'd take Kerryon
Johnson over Ridley.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Ridley,
I think he's the last of the running backs I'd take ahead of the wide receivers.
We've got Jordan from Under the Helmet joining us. Jordan, what's going on?
Not much. I don't know how much of a voice I got. We just did 8 hours over 2 days, so running on steam. So
UTH, man, you guys go crazy for draft coverage. You just go all day. Talk to Tim Torch about that. But thanks for dropping in, Jordan. So we're just talking about risers and fallers. We're talking about Kerryon Johnson. Obviously, you heard that conversation. So who are your risers and fallers, Jordan?
I have no idea what the market's going to do. I'm totally. I know who my guys are. I have no idea. This draft is. I think when you look back at like 2017, I thought it was pretty clear in terms of how values were going to break down. You basically had slots at 1, 2, and 3, and then basically another tier at 4 through 6, and then there was sort of it became more wide open after that. This year, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be all over the place, and I think this is the year you find your select few of players that you like and just keep taking them. And because I think ADP is going to be all over the place. There's a lot of day 2 receivers with some interesting landing spots that people are going to feel vastly different about. I think value is going to be all over the place. So I don't know. I don't know where you guys were before this. I mean, I think Rashad Penny is going to be a key question in a lot of drafts about where he goes. And I suspect he's probably in the top 6 if I had to guess at this point.
Where do you have him, Jordan? Just curious.
I'm low on him. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the landing spot. I thought he was too early. I'd probably take him basically the way I break my board down is in draft ranges. I'd probably be in the second half of the first round with him. My thought would probably be, someplace in the, 107 to 110 range for him.
He's such an interesting case, right, Penny, because he's got the production in college, but we see the flaws in his game. But now he's got the draft capital too. But is it just Seattle that did something, crazy and they totally reached, or should we? I mean, draft capital is like the biggest predictor, right, of success for these running backs. So I'm really torn about Rashad Penny, especially after tonight, because oh man,
it's so much fun.
I know that's what makes it fun, but it makes it difficult. And I think, Tyler, I think you were alluding to this either before we started the show, as we started the show. I think it's going to be a good year to kind of not necessarily be towards the top. I mean, if you have those late first, early seconds, I think you're going to get some tremendous values. But what about the tight ends, guys? I mean, we really talked about that, but I don't know that I'm real excited about any of these tight ends in terms of. I mean, I wasn't necessarily anyway.
Talking about running backs. Hold on.
Well, okay, we can go back to running backs, but.
Ronald Jones is a riser going early in the second. It's shocking. Like as far as I feel like the draft community analytics, like man,
God,
he had so much hate.
Jones, why do you have to go to Tampa?
Which was this premier landing spot for every single running back, and then Ronald Jones goes there, and everybody just lets out this collective like sigh of sadness. And
no one likes him. No one.
Yeah.
But why? Why would you not at this point now use a top, like, let's say like 108 on Ronald Jones?
Because he's an undersized back that doesn't catch. That worries me.
Yeah.
And he's not fast. I mean,
so this happened before, right? Let's rewind a year ago. I wasn't a huge fan of Samaje Perine. but then all of a sudden Samaje Perine, and they're different backs. I'm not comping the two. But what I'm saying is I just wasn't a huge fan of him. He goes to the Washington Redskins, so he had a nice, clear path to be the running back. And then now what? Yeah, and then now what happened? I mean, yeah, it's the 4th round, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
It's just like the 206 to me is huge that they took him there versus what was available on the table.
Oh no, yeah, no, they definitely overdrafted him, but I don't think that means we have to, because they drafted a kicker in the second round.
Like the Jazz.
It's like you want to look at the NFL GMs and assume they're smarter than you. You do, because it would make it a lot easier if these guys just knew what. I don't know if you guys allow cursing, so I won't curse. But
tonight we do it. We're putting the E explicit on this bad boy. So
right, fuck it. So every once in a while, you're like, all right, I think these NFL GMs really have their shit together. And then they do things like draft Denzel Ward at 4 instead of trading back for more draft capital, or they draft a fucking kicker in the 2nd round, or they trade for a punter. So then you're like, well, I can't trust you idiots because look at the shit you do.
Or the Saints give up 2 first-rounders for a freaking
exactly.
My for fantasy football though would be as there. So like the Ronald Jones, wherever you had him in your rookie rankings before, if you're at the 108, you have a decent team. If you didn't trade your 1st-round pick or anything like that, or let's say like 109, or like late, like 2nd half of the 1st round of picks. So you have a team that's at least going to give their best shot to this guy, right? They give their best shot to every terrible draft pick they've given. And so at least he's going to get the chance. And you kind of have to buy into that at least for a couple of years. And that's the best you can hope for, is a winning team in a Dynasty League in a rookie draft.
Fine. I'll put him at 15.
Yeah. I mean, if I drafted him there, I would literally just look to trade him. Like, I would draft him and then turn around and be like, he's on the board. Like, I don't know. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah. Or why not wait for a couple of weeks of production? Like, I don't know.
I may buy some Jaquiz Rogers. So when this falls out, I'm just kidding.
I tried that last year. It didn't work.
Ryan,
to
answer your original.
Go ahead, Trey.
Well, I was just going to say, you would ask about tight ends, and I haven't really heard much noise about this pick, but I felt like that Mike Gesicki going to the Dolphins, and where they took him in the 2nd round. I mean, with his athleticism and Adam Gase there, they've lost Jarvis Landry. Say what you will about Ryan Tannehill, but Ryan Tannehill with a guy like Jarvis Landry, that could get some separation and get across the middle of the field, even on short routes, there was some serious production there. And now, I mean, who's going to be the primary pass catcher in that Miami offense? So, I think that could be a little bit of an underrated landing spot. I don't know that, 12 months from now, that Ryan Tannehill's even still the starting quarterback in Miami, but I think that the draft capital that they spent on him and his athleticism and receiving prowess, I think that Gesicki going to the Dolphins for me was kind of a nice landing spot, and I don't know that that's going to really translate, and so he might be a guy that can slide down draft boards and be able to be snagged if you've got a need for a tight end, and could honestly produce in year 1. Just because of the opportunity there, the lack of proven pass catchers in that offense.
Yeah, I moved him. He's now my first tight end off the board because basically everything else I wanted to happen didn't. Since the first tight end drafted is 25 years old. I don't want anything to do with Hayden Hurst.
Well, Andy's not alone either. Keep that in mind now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, my tight end one going into tonight was Dallas Goedert, but he's, so for at least the next 2-3 seasons, he's tied. He's got a twin with Zach Ertz. So unless they run 12 personnel 85% of the time, I don't see where he's going to get the volume to produce. Process of elimination, it's Gesicki for me now.
So Bradley Alzala joined us. He did he's been doing mock drafts for Dynasty League football. I think that anyone that was doing mock drafts, day 2 I don't know anyone that was close on day 2 to Bradley. So what are your reactions to day 2?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a couple of guys that started in second round. I know you guys, I came in, you guys were harping on Ronald Jones, but he was actually one of the guys I liked his landing spot. I think they have an open running back position. Their offense is set up to be very good for the next few years with Winston Evans and now Ronald Jones. I think he's going to take a little bit to adjust to the physicality of the NFL, but I actually like that spot. Kerryon Johnson, I think he landed in the perfect situation. They got LeGarrette Blount, Amir Abdullah there, but I think he can win that job. Last year, they struggled really badly at the goal line, which will be blunt, but I think Johnson wins that job. Christian Kirk, man, I think they landed a really good guy for Josh Rosen. He's going to go in there and be I think the number 2 right behind Larry Fitzgerald. I think he's set up for a really nice year right away. And then Darius Geis, the last round 2 guy I wanted to touch on. Obviously dropped to 59 with Washington Redskins, but we've seen with Alex Smith running backs, with the way he plays short, dink and dunk, and doesn't turn the ball over, his running backs get a lot of touches. We saw that with Jamal Charles. We saw that with Kareem Hunt. I think we're going to see the same thing with Darius Geis. So I really liked where the running backs and receivers went in round 2.
It was such a good night.
Yeah.
Like, it's just as far as intrigue, too.
Mm-hmm.
And what had happened. Totally. Ronald Jones is moving up as far as my draft board goes, and we chatted about it earlier. Regardless of what you believe in his running style and what he does, the Tampa Bay is like a perfect running spot for a guy like him. Mm-hmm. And where he went, to me, it's just totally worth a shot.
Yeah, solid.
Hey, do you guys want to just do like an impromptu mock draft just for fun, since there's so many of us? That way we give everyone a turn to get in here. So let's do like a 1 QB mock, just off the cuff. I'm gonna have the 101. I'm gonna take Saquon Barkley. I'm gonna reach for him, guys. So then we'll go to Bradley and see what Bradley wants to do with the 102.
On the spot. We're doing PPR.
Yeah, we'll do full point PPR. Just
1 QB.
1 QB.
Right?
Yep.
We can do 2.
Go a little bit bold here. I mean, I would look to trade out of the spot. But I'm going to go DJ Moore. I mean, I think I landed in a good spot with Carolina. He's going to be one of the top receivers there. Cam Newton's still in his prime for a couple more years. 21 years old, really rapidly improving. I think he's going to be a Stephon Diggs-like talent right away. Man, I just really wish guys would have gone higher. It's concerning because he was a lock in number 102, even in PPR. But DJ Moore is the pick for me right now.
All right, fair enough. Jordan, you want to go with the 103?
Yeah, I'll take Geis. I know he drops, but he's still my second back. I'm not concerned. I think it's a good landing spot. I think there's probably off the field stuff that causes drop. I don't think it's talent related.
Sure. All right, Trey, 104.
So I'm gonna just off the cuff here. I love Nick Chubb. I love Sonny Michel, but I'm gonna get silly here. And I'm going to grab a guy that I love his landing spot. I love the opportunity. And I'm going to jump on Royce Freeman at the 104.
Oof. Like it.
Hot.
Yeah.
Grab the mittens, baby. Grab them.
I love Royce Freeman. That's a little early for me.
All right. Shane, so you're up with the 105, Shane. So who do you like here?
I'm going to grab, Nick Chubb then, since he's going to fall to me.
That's nice. That's a nice place to take him with a 105. I don't think anyone would be too sad about that.
I feel like the Browns having him fall to me like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it's very successful for the picks that fall to the Browns. I'm just sorry.
What you don't know is that Shane right now is like, oh yeah, 1-4. That's pretty high for you to take Freeman. Deep down, shh. I was going to take him at the 1-5.
All right, so Tyler, you got the 106.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, I'm just going left. Like, who's on my screen, left to right? That's the.
I don't know if you guys see it the same way, but I saw where my pick was after he said initially.
Oh man.
These things.
So, I guess I think I'm going to go Sony Michel here. I think that the Patriots, they don't spend high capital on running backs. And I think that, I don't know if he'll be that sexy for 2018, but I think in 2019, I think they're going to get rid of a lot of these scrubs. And I think it could be Sony Michel. I don't think the Patriots do it by accident, and I think they spent the money on them for a reason. So,
all right, Tyler was cutting out there on mine for a second, but
okay, I just want to make sure it's just me.
Sonny Michel, though. So, Will, it's with 107, Will.
Yeah, I mean, would be willing to take Michelle, depending on place and where you are in a draft at 102 right now. Just, I'll look more deeper into it, but this is draft night time. So here, I'm just gonna take Rashad Penny at the 107. Like, let me eat that up all day. I mean, if they have a terrible offensive line, the Seahawks management is gonna try to use the hell out of Rashad Penny, because that or somebody's gonna get super fired. And it's probably be both. So, first year before the Seattle running backs before he breaks his leg, which is a classic Seattle running back tactic, I'll take a week's production from him.
But and this is what I was talking about too. Is like I don't feel like that's a hot take. I feel like that's a great pick. And I mean, as I was saying, I think these later round firsts are kind of like where I want to be. Like that's the sweet spot. I mean, as of right now.
I mean, if I had 108 and I got Rashad Penny, I'd be dancing in the background. I mean, wherever you got that from, or if somebody was really down on it and you're able to procure it easily, because people are going to be down about this draft now. I think this has been a very, very shocking draft for landing spots. And if you can capitalize on instant reaction in your dynasty leagues, oh man, you get some good deals. Like if you need a running back for this year, if they're a running back like 3, which is I think the best you could expect. As long as you need a starter, however you get them, it could be good.
All right, I was going to say, John Bosch
just joined. I just jump in? Jump into another terrible mock draft in the middle of it?
Nightmare.
No, it just ended.
Okay, thank God.
It was a great mock draft.
It did not go well.
I don't think we.
I gotta say, John Bosch joined us, and he has just stared at all of us seductively. He's just leaned over with his headphones on, drinking a beer. I felt like an object, and I liked it.
Yeah, anyways, I have a very different podcast setup during the draft because I want to sit in my recliner and sit in the couch, reclining couch, and watch the TV as I'm enjoying.
The draft is over, John.
Oh.
Okay, Shane, you want to come over and reset up my actual podcast area for me?
Yeah. I'm on my way, buddy. On my way.
All right.
John just loves the NFL coverage of the analysts there, live TV. And
I at least like to see the picks coming. I don't have the volume. Good God.
So John, you don't want to take your pick? You don't like our mock draft? You have the one.
I'm actually really curious. Can you guys give me a rundown since we were a little late here?
Yes, of course. So I took Barkley with the 101.
Okay, that's a good pick.
Thank you.
Decent.
DJ Moore 102. Wow. Darius Geis 103. Royce Freeman 104. Nick Chubb 105. Michelle 106, and then Rashad Penny 107. So you've got the 108.
Who took DJ Moore at 102?
Bradley.
Noting that. All right.
I would.
It's a good pick, Bradley. Don't be intimidated.
No. I mean, DJ Moore is easily my favorite wide receiver out of the class right now. Go through that one more time, Saquon.
Oh man, come on.
Barkley,
we've been through it once.
Barkley, Moore, Geis, Freeman, Chubb, Michelle, Penny.
Oh man, you just God damn it.
One more time.
I was literally trying to type so that I can read it and look at it at the same time.
Yeah, I got like 3 of those.
I got 3. I got Saquon, Moore, Geis.
You're like the person that comes in
again.
The TV Penny and tells him to catch up on it.
Okay.
Oh, he's leading up. It's getting serious now. He's not laying down seductively. Oh man. John Bosch is officially in this podcast now, boys.
Season 3 of Game of Thrones. Catch me up.
Look, John's running everything. John's used to being the commissioner of everything and the boss of every podcast because he has 37 of them.
Hey, I came in late to the chat, so I assume the chat has already had the picks labeled out, but I don't have that.
Labeled.
Jesus. Do we? Yeah, I don't think we even thought about a chat going. That's
the best way to do it, especially when you come and deflect to somebody else. This is the best strategy.
Okay, so I still have Saquon, Moore, and Geis.
All right. Freeman. put this in chat, the rest of it. Michelle and Penny. There you go.
All right. Good job, Fantasy. Who's ever got the Fantasy Joes? Okay. Oh, Chubb went in there too. Okay. Good God. And all of a sudden, I'm on the clock too.
Calvin.
We can go Peter Howard here.
That's right.
Peter's in here? Peter, did you know you're British?
I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I listened to the show from last night earlier. I said, son of a bitch.
I hide it well.
You do. Good for you.
I'm trying.
It turns out that Kentucky.
Well, and I actually found out that Peter is like 30 minutes away from me. So we're getting beer together soon.
Kentucky is this hotbed of Dynasty football. Ryan McDowell lives in Kentucky, right? How close is he to you guys?
Yeah.
He's not that far at all.
I wouldn't trust any fantasy person from Kentucky.
I didn't say you had to trust us.
All right, let's try states.
Yeah, but you would try to seduce any fantasy football player from Kentucky the way you're laying down, man. So I understand.
All right, Ryan, lay out the draft real quick. Let's just get these guys picked.
All right.
It's in the chat. We know the order now. So
I hate this.
John Bosch is feeling the pressure on the clock. 108.
Okay, so I am.
John Bosch is gonna bid.
That's right. This is an auction. I'm sorry we threw you this curveball. You don't like this format.
I want to. Let's let it be a bankroll auction. I'm saving all my money till next year. Let's see. I am going
$0. Next.
I think I'm going
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, it's
Ronald Jones, right?
It was Ridley. That's the one. That's what I was getting ready to say, and I think I'm staying there. Calvin Ridley, I think.
There it is. That's a nice pick.
It feels gross.
It does, doesn't it?
We spent like 3 hours on this earlier trying to do it, and we couldn't. It was so bad. All right, so I went.
The amount of time doing it here.
I went Ridley. Let's move along and somebody else make a terrible pick.
All right, Peter.
So I'm really we really did have a hell of a time doing it in the last one. Am I to understand Nick Chubb's still on the board?
No,
he was taken at 105.
Hey Peter, I'll trade you because I guess I've got the 110. I'll swap picks and I'll give you a third rounder for
Deal.
just to go up one. Cool with that?
Why do you offer that to me? I rescind my Ridley pick.
You can't pick, but he can deny your trade.
All right,
I'm the commish. I can revert this.
All right, let's reverse the pick. I'll trade. Yeah, I'll trade you my 110 and a third.
I think the pick's in.
What is going on?
I think it's Peter. I'm not stealing his value right there.
No, you go for it. Let me go. I'm still
Peter,
trying to catch up. No, let him come in.
Wait, are 2019 first in here now? I mean, this mock's getting out of control, boys.
All right. Okay.
For 2019,
Peter, you got to go. No trades. Go ahead.
Damn it. So Chubb's definitely gone.
Yes, he's still gone.
I haven't thrown him back into the draft.
If
I like that
keep
pick.
stalling, do you think the answer is going to change? I'll take Christian Kirk.
Okay, well, talk to me after your next pick, and we'll see about a trade.
All right, Kirk. So I'm going to take Kerryon Johnson.
Hey, that's a great pick.
Wow.
All right. I will take Ronald Jones. Like I said, I really like that landing spot, and late first round, early second round talent for me, so I feel comfortable about that.
Hey, man, where's that going? Like 111 right there?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, he was my other choice.
He's got to get 1 year out of the starting running back on your team, right? Give us the old go.
It's a pretty good place to. I mean, I don't believe in him either, but that's a good place to get him into the first.
Yeah.
Really good place. I'm not even sure. How far are we going to go? Are we going to go through 2 rounds? Is that the idea?
7 rounds of the first 3 rounds of the draft pick. I thought we were stopping after 1. I'm sorry. Actually, we went to
all right.
2.
Who has the 112?
What round are we up to?
I think it's me.
Let's just make the pick, and we'll call it a day.
I'll take Sutton, Cortland Sutton.
All right.
That's a good pick at 112, man. Or 114, whatever we're doing.
I got a question for you guys. It's kind of related to the draft. So there's 3 running backs. that kind of survived, if you will, the first 3 rounds of the draft. And so I'm curious which of these guys do you have the most hope for next year? Alex Collins, Marlon Mack, or Kenyon Drake?
Trey, I'm not kidding. I literally wrote a note to myself that said, remember when you didn't want to take a late first for any of these guys? Now I would take a late first now I would take them over the late first. I'm sorry. I said that backwards. But remember when I wanted to take the guy over the pick? Because I wanted, I was happy to take the 111 over any of them. Well, now I want the guy over all of them.
Alex Collins is still going to lose that job.
To Gore?
No, because they're not on the same team. Alex Collins.
Oh, Alex Collins. It's been a long night, man.
Are you Kenneth Dixon truther, Shane?
My bad.
No,
I was thinking you were going Miami. My bad.
No. I like Kenyon Drake. I think Kenyon Drake is as safe as can be now, but I think Alex Collins he's going to fumble away that opportunity. And yeah, I don't know if Kenneth Dixon's really all that good, but I think he'll eat enough into his workload. And we still have the 4th round. There's no reason that they can't take someone in the 4th that's better than him, or the 5th for that matter.
A lot left. So what scares me terribly about, because I really, really, really want to move Sony Michel up super high to where if you could trade somebody for an early 1st round draft pick, because the way that the NFL draft this year has gone is killed dynasty hype trains or fantasy drafts hype trains. I feel quite a bit, but his fumbling has been a huge problem in college. So I guess this is it's not really a comment. It's not really a question. Is that I really, really want to move Sony Michel up to as far as immediate production, to my 102, 103, rookie draft pick. But what scares me most is he's going to the Patriots, where they have one of the least tolerances for fumbling. And as far as talent goes, where they took him, super stoked about it. But man, I just it adds extra risk to a 1st rounder. It's one of the things about the draft this year that I love and hate. I love that it adds so much extra thought into it, but I hate it because it makes me question what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to actually move up. How as us people who we look into this stuff all the time, how are we supposed to take advantage of these draft picks? Are you guys going to now try to trade back into early first? Are you selling all early first for later first? The rest of the dynasty draft community has probably caught on. So your initial opinion, are you moving back or are you trying to move up in a dynasty draft?
I think it's going to be really hard to move back because I think every single person is going to sit there and say, I got 6 guys that I want right now. I'm not giving anything to move up because in 6 picks, I'll just take whichever one's left. I mean, the literally the tier for me now is so huge. The tier of players beyond Saquon Barkley, it's ridiculous. I love Sony. And I had finally gotten on board that, you know what? I'm just going to have to pay the 103 or 104 to take him. But now I kind of feel gross paying the 103 or 104 to take him because
he's not.
I hate Patriots running backs. I hate it.
But also he's not worth that. So you should feel gross.
No, I actually like him a lot, so I'm okay with that. I had finally gotten on board, and now I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. So if I can trade back, I will, and I will just take whoever I can. But I kind of think every single person is going to have that mentality, and we're going to see less movement, or at least you're not going to get a lot to move back anymore.
Yeah, and this is where you win or lose, right? If you have a big belief in Sony Michel or another 102, 103, 104 pick, you could win huge or you could lose real big.
Yeah.
And so,
that's
just what's running through my head. It's
the safeties and just not making the pick.
John, I think that I'm with you. I've always been real hesitant to own New England running backs, and when I did own them, I was pretty hesitant to start them. But Sony Michel's a different animal, and when you look at his talent, I mean, even coming out of high school, he was a 5-star recruit. He produced incredibly at Georgia, and they spent a first-round pick on him. So it's all there. It's talent, it's college production, it's NFL draft capital, and he just so happens to be going to play for one of the best offenses in the NFL. So I think that the opportunity – I mean, you can't sit Sony Michel next to Rex Burkhead or James White or whoever else, Jeremy Hill, whoever could end up on that roster and not see a significant talent gap. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to get workhorse type usage, but with his ability to run between the tackles, his ability to create, his ability to catch the ball, I really like the opportunity to grab Sony Michel. I think some people could see going to the New England backfield. I think it could truly create a buying opportunity for Michel. He could slip. You know, guys like Ronald Jones could jump ahead of him. Guys like Royce Freeman and Sony Michel, just like in this mock, you know, could start to slip a little bit to the middle. You know, you could get a Sony Michel maybe 105 to 107 range, and I think that's just stealing. So I actually think that all of the components are there for him to be a producer in New England, and you could start him with confidence.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And then I'll be proven wrong
palatable.
by Belichick.
It's definitely more palatable to get him in the middle of the first. I mean, originally that's where I was kind of hoping late first, but then he had his, his big college, had his college series where everybody got to know him, and then all of a sudden he just
he started doing good. What the crap?
And then he just went way high. But now I think he's dropped a little bit, like you said. I think 105, 106 might be reasonable. But I think this is where it's going to pay off to really know what your league mates are thinking. Because if there's one other person ahead of you that wants him, they're probably going to take him in front of you.
Patriots fans too, man. I'm just saying, like, I have a guy in my league. I had the 103, and as soon as he went there, I swear he was like, hey, what do you want for that 103? And I was just like, I don't know. Hold on, let me look. And I knew what he was doing. Like, he was already in another chat of mine just blowing up about how excited he was for Sony to be a Patriot. And I was just like, okay.
If they actually if he actually does become like like the main running back in New England, it would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see the upside. I'm not disagreeing with that. But it's just Billy Belichick, Billy B.
They don't do it.
I swear. I can't trust you or your cutoff hoodies.
Well, and if you
won't
think
do
about
it.
too, even
But
though
they're
it was
not
8 picks apart, he effectively traded Brandon Cooks for Sony Michel. I mean, in the grand scheme of things. So I just think as many needs as they have moving forward with kind of a rebuild coming in Brady and Gronk's last days, Edelman's last days, I think that the fact that they spent the draft capital on a running back speaks volumes for what they see in him and how they'll use him. And again, that could be proven wrong, but it'll be interesting to watch.
What's interesting, he fumbles the ball every 54.6 times he touches the football. The average for a prospect is one fumble every 124.5 touches. So Michel qualifies as a potential red flag. This is through Dane Brungler. So it's interesting because I get to see him, first game, he fumbles the ball, coughs it up, and then Bill decides, okay, you're not going to go back in the game. So I don't know. I hate that. John, I'm with you. Patriots running back. Oh man, it's just scary to want to grab him.
Okay, but if you're scared about the Patriots thing, I mean, what should make you feel better is that they don't draft running backs in the first round.
That's true. That's true.
Maroney.
Yeah.
Most of you guys, you weren't even. I don't think anyone but me was alive the last time they drafted her on this podcast. I mean, there was other people alive, obviously, but not you guys. Lawrence Maroney, what was it, 12, 13 years ago or whatever, to expend that kind of draft capital on them, on a running back, he's going to use them. Jeremy Hill's not even guaranteed to make that roster, and I'd be shocked if he does.
Yeah, he won't.
Mike Gillislee, I'd be shocked if he makes the roster. I think his competition is going to be Burkhead and James White. And the thing about Michel is if he can hold on to the ball, is he can do the same things they can do, except neither one of them can do everything that he can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my biggest worry is that so far Sony Michel cannot hold on to the ball. It's as far as averages go. And I get that you have a very different running back system there at Georgia, hard to compare the pros to college, but if you fumble in college, it's a big the pros are so much better, and they hit the ball right every time. And so that's why I really want to move Sony Michel up, but that's my biggest concern because the Patriots don't have time to wait for Sony Michel to learn how to hold on to the ball. They literally don't. So they drafted him, and I'm in. I'm in on the risk, I think, and it worries me a lot. But I think I'm in. Like, give me Sony Michel I can get.
You can be taught to, how to hold the ball better. And, Belichick's not an idiot as much as I hate the freaking guy. He knows what Michel's weaknesses are, and I'm sure they're going to attack them as soon as they can get their hands on the guy, as soon as they're legally allowed to talk to him. That's probably going to be one of the first things they do.
Waiting for when it's legal. Come on.
Well, that's true. They've probably already floated a balloon over there or something to him, telling him how to properly hold a football.
Didn't you watch Draft Day, man? He got flown up to Foxborough last night for the Draft Day party.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should tell anyone this. I've never actually seen Draft Day because I think for the most part, sports movies are horrible.
Whoa, basketball?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Basketball.
Wait. No, Rocky was terrible, right, Shane?
First of all, the first Rocky was amazing.
Oh, okay.
And the last Rocky was amazing.
I just wanted to try and get a Philadelphian to actually say that.
The first Rocky won an Academy Award. Come on, it's a fucking work of art.
That's when movies suck, though.
Hey.
All right, we've gotten off track. Shane got us off track.
Let's get back on track. Hey, Bradley, I know that you said you had limited time tonight, so I don't know how you're doing in time, but do you want to have any final thoughts on day 2 before you cruise out of here?
Yeah, so a couple thoughts. Jordan Akins to Houston. I thought whoever ended up there was CJ Fordowich, however you pronounce it, retiring. Whatever tight end ended up there was going to be a big winner. Michael Gallup in Dallas. He has a legit chance to be the number 2. Alan Hearns, I know, is there. And that offense is going to be really good. And I just want to touch on Shane was talking about Alex Collins. They did add Orlando Brown. So if he can keep that starting job, Orlando Brown is the best run-blocking offensive tackle in this class. Him with Lamar Jackson eventually when he takes over the job. I think they were big winners today. Baltimore's done a tremendous job surrounding Lamar with talent. So I just really like some of the offensive linemen. And then Saquon Barkley, as if he needed more help. Will Hernandez at the start of the second round. That's going to be tremendous help for them with that offensive line. But, yes, this was really fun talking with you guys. Unfortunately, I got to go to the gym now. But I hope we can do this again soon. This was fun.
Go to the gym. That's hardcore. It's like 11:45 Eastern.
I actually like to go at night more than the morning. So, yeah, what can you do?
This is my gym right here.
All right,
Jim Beam.
Yeah, Bradley Lozalo. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, Bradley.
Bradley brought up a couple of interesting names we haven't discussed. Michael Gallup to the Cowboys, and then Jordan Akins. This is a guy that I don't think any of us were really talking about before this draft, and that is a good landing spot going to Houston. So, what do you guys think of those names?
I legitimately asked who's Jordan Akins when he got drafted.
No kidding.
Because I was like,
who is that? What is he?
He's the tight end that went to the with the 34th pick of the 3rd round. The Central Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently, after the Eagles screwed the Cowboys out of Dallas Goedert, the Cowboys just took any tight end they could find.
No, I'm
that.
sorry. I said Dallas. It was Houston. No, it was Houston. I
the
had
Texans.
the wrong Texas team
okay.
first. I'm sorry.
Texans needed a tight end. That kills Steven Anderson's hopes and dreams, or my hopes and dreams for Steven Anderson.
I think
you and Tim Keller.
I think
but Michael Gallup
have on these tight ends should just be.
Peter, what are you saying about the tight ends?
I was just saying you should write down whatever opinions I have on these tight ends, put them in a box, and we'll open them in 3 years and start trading for them. I mean, apart from that's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Tight ends are
these
a disaster now. I mean, Baltimore took 2 of them.
Yeah.
So how do you
question mark?
How do you decide which one you actually want?
Well,
now?
but Baltimore with the history of drafting stud tight ends in the last years.
But Joe Flacco actually does target a tight end. It's never the tight end they draft.
Well, more importantly, does Lamar Jackson, because Joe Flacco is gone after next season.
I want to get it out there before as we're going down here. Traquan Smith is those middle kind of like, is he high? Is he low? Is he what? Is he what?
Let's Saints way in here.
Huh?
I was insanely high on Traquan Smith before the draft, and I think I'm going to end up still being pretty high on him, but I really hate where he went because I'm also really high on Cameron Meredith. That was a bit of a gut punch for me. because I really thought Meredith was going to be stepping into a serious wide receiver 2 role and a red zone role as well with Drew Brees, who can turn, he could turn me into a wide receiver 3. Well, probably not that good, but and Tre'Quan Smith I'm really high on. I just I don't know who I'm going to lean towards yet, but I really like Tre'Quan Smith. So my feeling is I'm going to come out high second round pick on him in rookie drafts at least.
Yeah, I actually had a weird thing happen where right before the draft, I just was sending out some trades, and I traded, Cameron Meredith and Kenyon Drake for the 1.5 or 1.6, I don't remember, thinking that, the Dolphins will trade for running back. This is going to be good. The only piece I'm really losing here is Cameron Meredith. And, kind of the exact opposite happened. Oddly enough, I was like, okay, the trade's already done. There's nothing I can do about it. But, yeah.
I don't understand actually why Tre'Quan Smith isn't mentioned as well. He's spoken of well by people who watch and evaluate tape. He was above average in his production in terms of market share every year from age 19 on. So, that's better than half the people most of us have in our top 5. And even on efficiency, as far as we can do it for college, he was literally turning inefficient targets are typically inefficient because they're high risk, high reward type targets into efficient targets, which is something that only really good receivers do. And he's only ever been mentioned as a wide receiver 3. He was already in the second round, at least for me, before the draft. And if I can get over my Cameron Meredith fascination, it's a good landing spot. I just don't know how that split's going to work.
Hey, Jordan, what do you think of Tre'Quan Smith? Because I know you looked into this guy, right?
I haven't seen him much. I know he's got good metrics. I mean, here's the thing, though. When Sean Payton speaks through the draft on offense, you got to pay attention. I mean, Kamara, Michael Thomas. I mean, you look at some of the guys he's taken on day 2. Those are – and Jimmy Graham was the other day 2 pick in the last, decade. So when Sean Payton speaks, I listen. And I think that, he's probably becomes I'm not a big day 2 receiver guy, but they have to be, good metrically. They got to like the landing spot. So I think if he's in the later part of the second round, he's interesting.
Tre'Quan Smith has a 35.7 success rate, as I did it for that catch report thing I wrote, which means he's got a breakout age of 19 and he was drafted in the 3rd round. That's actually a higher hit rate, and this is a historical rate based on every wide receiver drafted and undrafted since 2001. That's actually a higher hit rate than if Calvin Ridley had been taken in the 1st round. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
So you're saying the odds of him being fantasy viable are higher than Calvin Ridley based on your
based on wide receivers since 2001, 35% of wide receivers with an age 19 breakout age, which is Tre'Quan Smith, that were taken in the 3rd round have become top 24 wide receivers. So that's actually a really high mark to hit as well. So 35% doesn't sound like a lot, but that's why I compared it to Ridley's. It's actually pretty high, based on, say, everyone since 2001.
Yeah, and I love this landing spot for Tre'Quan. If you want to give a guy with a chance for a huge amount of upside, put him on the Saints. Come on, they had the running game last year, and you can't expect the offense to be the exact same. And the wide receiver 2 is going to be Cameron Meredith, and you're not even sure about that in the way he's going to recover with injury because we are not in the know enough to know how well he's recovering. We're not crushing the gym with him.
The Bears know. I mean, you got to trust Ryan Pace. Look at his track record. Trey.
So, but how much more could you want in a wide receiver prospect? If you're high on him and he goes there, it's such a good spot.
Any speed combination is
the first 3 rounds. Give me.
Well, we got to talk about this too. I don't want to get off track, but you're talking about first 3 rounds. Is anybody else concerned that Equidemia St. Brown hasn't gone?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there was a lot of people really high on him.
Yeah, he's the one missing. I think Pettis took his place.
I'm just praying Green Bay.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I just know there's a lot of truthers, I guess you would call them, and I was not on the bandwagon. I saw their argument, but I just kind of he's not even in the discussion. I don't know.
Yeah, John Bosch I'm assuming we got more than one John, but the John I just came on with from the other one, he had a really good point in the Dynasty Dummies thing we just did, where there's going to be day 3 players going in the first, maybe the first, but definitely the second round. And he's right. I don't know when the last time that happened was, but Equiminius is a candidate for that.
Yeah, if he goes to the Packers, he's going to be considered
first
early, like in the mid, 107, 108. People are going to start thinking about that if he goes to the Packers. John Kelly was the other one that we were talking about that hasn't been drafted yet, but if he lands in the right spot, he's a first-round pick, and he's a day 3 NFL draft pick. It feels really weird.
Yeah, and I said that. They were talking about risers and fallers for me, and I was like, I liked me some John Kelly, but the fact that he hasn't gotten picked up by now is a concern. I mean, that's a fall for me. I don't know how far. I mean, we'll see where he lands and how the draft is going per se, but that I don't know. Not excited about it. It feels wrong, like you were saying, John. I think you nailed it.
So let me ask you this: so Des Bryant not on a team yet. People didn't want to give a first-round pick for Des Bryant, right? Like, nobody would have wanted to give the 110, 111, 112 for him a week ago.
I would have.
Now I think everybody would, right?
I would have done that last week.
Oof. Good for you,
yeah,
Shane.
Oh, yeah. I would have, too. I've been saying that. And everybody said, like, on my podcast about a year ago, I was disparaging Dez, but I was disparaging Dez because of the price. I mean, everything comes down to price. And a year ago, Dez's price was not a late round first, and I just said I don't see that. And so now that he's back to a late round first, I'm like, yeah, I'll give that, no problem. And everybody was like, I thought you hated Dez. I'm like, no, I just didn't like his price. I mean, I'm not a big fan of RC Cola, but if you give it to me for 50 cents, well,
it's available for every single day. RC.
Well, that's true. That's true, I guess. Well, okay, bad price margin. I'm just saying, if you hand it to me for a penny, here it is, down the throat.
If you could trade Dez for Rashad Penny right now, would you?
No.
Wait, am I getting Rashad Penny?
Yeah.
I'd probably take Penny.
I'd take Rashad Penny.
I'd take Penny.
See, that's where I just.
But Penny's not going. Penny's not going to 111 though. I mean, that's what they're talking about.
Not going to. Yeah, Penny's going to go
mid first.
That's what.
Yeah, exactly.
Top 3 picks.
Are we just calling everybody mid first? So is it Barkley and then everybody's mid first?
Yeah, exactly. Nailed it.
It might be.
205.
That's a good point, Shane. Because if we did this like mock that we did again, and we all did went in a different order, it would be totally different. I think. I think that's pretty clear.
I think it's the beauty of the first round now. I'm actually glad of every single rookie pick that I sold before the draft, because you have this muddled craziness that's going on, because this draft was great for controversy. There's no set picks after the 101. And this is now a time, if you really believe in somebody, go up and grab them. This is time to plant some flags, get some guys. And I'm really loving it.
Well, what about Cortland Sutton? Cortland Sutton was our 112. Would you trade Cortland Sutton for Des Bryant? Because I don't see Cortland Sutton getting up to the mid first. I don't. I mean, not with the not with the running backs.
It's going to depend on the draft, though. I mean, it's going to depend on the league.
Dez hasn't even signed anywhere either yet. We don't even know where he's going to be.
He might retire. Him and DeMarco Murray might never play football again.
I think Dez will play again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Dez plays. I mean, you can sell me Murray, but
I'd be pretty hard on it. If I had a late first, if I had the 110 or the 111, and I made the determination that I needed to add a wide receiver, there's a lot of targets I think I could get aside from Dez. I mean, if someone came to me and said, "Hey, you have the 111, I have Dez," it'd be really team dependent. And if I felt like I really needed a wide receiver that can contribute this year, I probably would go shopping elsewhere. I mean, John said it. We don't know his landing spot. 2, we have no idea. I mean, he turned down a multiple year deal from the Ravens. We have no idea where his head's at. We have no idea how quickly he's going to get signed somewhere. And he's just a guy that concerns me. He could land in the right spot and end up being really quite valuable. But he scares me. And I think the depth of this class like I said, I feel like it's one of those moves that unless I felt like it put me over the edge for a title this year, 12 months from now, I'm going to look back and say, man, I could have had Christian Kirk, who just put up 900 yards and 60 catches in Arizona, and now I've got this, Des Bryant finishing up a 1-year deal. So that's a guy. He's a guy I've kind of been soured on, and you are right in saying that everybody has their price, but there's just certain guys that even at a quote unquote good price, I don't feel comfortable buying them, and Dez kind of falls in that category for me right now.
And I'll tell you, I just kind of cheat. I mean, this may be a cheat. I know John's going to like this take here, but if I'm sitting at the late first, I'd almost rather like pair it up with something and just go after these people that people aren't high on. I mean, going after a vet, we're not like Dez, but like a Sammy Watkins. I mean, people talking about a 1.7 for Sammy and debating that, and I'm like, no, I'll just. And if I can take the 111 and a future second and go to the guy that has Sammy Watkins and the rookie hype is real right before the draft, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah, I don't think the rookie hype's going to be real, though. I think people are down on the rookie class right now, right?
I mean, it could be.
That's going to change.
We're coasting down the roller coaster.
It seems crazy.
There's something that happens when there's a rookie draft going on. Like when a draft is happening, and whether it's on a message board or GroupMe or Voxer or however it is that your league, when there is something that's real about other people being on the clock to pick these rookies, that accelerates the hype. I mean, it just happens. The trades that can happen.
Yeah, it dipped, but the hype is still there.
Yeah, I think this is a hard truth class as well, right? Like there's someone that's your guy, and you're not going to believe they're going to fall, and you're going to want to go up, just like every year, really.
I don't feel the need to go up to get.
I don't.
Anybody.
I'm just saying. I think this is a hard truth of class. Like there's an Anthony Miller fan club who's just not going to believe he's going to fall past 201, and there's a Royce Freeman fan club that's not going to believe he'll fall to the 211, and so they're going to want to move up a little bit.
Yeah, you might be right. The object then is just literally sell every find that truther and sell them and just add anything you can.
But why not, so if the whole community
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But if the whole community is beating these down, why don't you go out and try to buy them?
I'll buy everyone. You give me a
I think it's league to league. I mean, I'm in some leagues with a bunch of podcasters, a bunch of you all who are talking about this right now. I'm also in a local league where you have the Patriots, Sony Michel Truther, who doesn't really listen to a lot of podcasts, that is wanting their guy, and that's just what they were going to do. And so I think it's league to league. I think that's really honest. If I'm in a league with John Bosch, I know John Bosch is a heartless man. He doesn't care about any of these a-holes. He'll just sell them all off. I mean, so I know that's his game plan. I'm not in a league with John, unfortunately.
I do like Sony.
I know you do. But I'm just saying.
But I'm heartbroken. I've been torn for like
but indecision is the time to buy, right? When somebody's waffling on Sammy Watkins' value when they go to Kansas City, that's either your time to buy or sell, depending on what you believe in. So I think that's really pertinent to these rookie picks. You either believe or you don't, and where these landing spots are, and what you can pay for them. And this is I feel like for us and I think this NFL draft is amazing for fantasy intrigue because it hadn't gone as anybody predicted it as far as the skill position players later on, which is so much fun. But either now is the time to either make your choice or not. You can trade back in drafts, but now your picks are devalued because when's the last time an NFL draft like this has been so it's just been a shit show the whole time to like the 102 and on now because guys was locked in 102 and now what are you gonna do?
You're probably right. It's probably easier to move.
Average consumer is gonna be it's gonna be fun.
Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
I was just saying he's probably right. Like now probably is the time to buy. Because you're probably never going to see prices this cheap again.
Right.
I think that's what I was talking about.
But you still have to end up making that pick then. Like, even if you buy, you have to make that pick. and that's where I feel really uncomfortable making a lot of these picks.
Yeah, but don't sell. Like if you have the 102, like I do in one league, and it's like, oh my god, why am I going to do the 102? But I'm not going to sell. This is like the worst time to sell. Just wait until. I mean, that's one of those truths, and I firmly believe this. You don't really want to sell draft picks until the draft starts, so that hype is building. I mean, and there are some exceptions to that, of course, if you're trying to package a pick with the deal. I mean, do you guys agree with that? I mean, do you just like hold on to those picks until it's draft time, or do you feel like no, that's not the right way to do it?
In general,
never more valuable than when you're on the clock.
Yeah, exactly. Unless I've got an offer on the table that is just so good that I know, that's as good as it gets. That's what I want, and I'm fine with that. But if I'm waffling even a little bit, just hold it until the draft. Don't even. You're better off. Don't even look at the offers. Just wait till you're on the clock. To be honest with you.
Yeah, but in some regards, the fact that a draft pick is never worth as much as when you're on the clock. That's I had a negotiation in one league where I was considering sending Joe Mixon, who I'm a big fan of, but also was a really big fan of Nick Chubb. And so I had a league where I was going to be sending potentially Joe Mixon for the 103 and getting a, ADP 75-ish wide receiver back. And I was, kind of waffling. I said, I want to wait till after the NFL draft. There's no way in hell right now would I give Joe Mixon for the 103. So, that concept, you do roll the dice a little bit. I think sometimes you do have to take opportunities where there's a buy window or a sell window. And I think it will be interesting to feel out our leagues in the coming weeks or in the coming days. If there's an overreaction taking place, for instance, if someone feels like Darius Guice falling devalues the 102 and you can jump from the 104 to the 102 for, relatively cheap, there may be some opportunities to buy some of those picks. And then the other thing that we haven't really touched on, which this can open a whole nother can of worms, but I think it just kind of reinforces what we've been discussing in Superflex leagues, which is predominantly what I play in. It's even deeper. It's an even deeper class with all of the quarterbacks that went in the first round. You're going to.
Yep, I was about to say that. You're
going to get Ronald Jones at like 203 in a Superflex. I mean, the wide receivers and running backs that you're going to get at picks 202 to 206 are going to be ridiculous in a Superflex league. So I think that there could be some real opportunities to move down from 110 to 204 and try to get an extra second or an extra, like a future pick in those Superflex leagues, because the depth of this class and that huge second tier that John alluded to is even bigger now in Superflex.
Hey, do you guys want to do mock Superflex? People love
God,
mocks.
yes. God, yes.
Back it up.
Absolutely, yeah. I really want those seconds.
All right, so John,
Yeah.
do you want to go first, John, or is that no
No,
for you?
first is boring.
Peter, go first.
It's still Saquon, so I don't
How
want
about
that.
this?
I'll
How about
go.
this? Nobody goes first. Let's just say it's Saquon.
Okay,
and
good.
Nobody take that pick. That's the consensus pick. Nobody's getting easy out here.
I'll go second then.
All right, John Bosch, second.
Josh Rosen has been my 102 in Superflex forever, and he still is. So I will take Rosen easily at 102 in any Superflex draft.
Nice.
It's so much easier too now. I think some people debated Geis and but now it's so muddled that it's like in Superflex, snap it, just not a problem.
Oh, praise Jesus for whoever's actually typing these in the chat.
Yeah,
well done.
Is that fair to say praise Jesus while drafting Josh Rosen? I'm just good.
Oh, good call.
Out there. No, anyway, like my best friend is Jewish, but if you're going to draft him 102, bro, come on. No.
All right, Jordan,
Religion plays
the
no
booze
factor
coming in during
in
the picks is what I was talking about.
fantasy football is my religion.
I'm going left to right. So Jordan, you got the 103. You good to go?
Yeah, I'll take my guy Baker Mayfield. He's my number one quarterback. I think he's a historic metric producer, and I'll take him. Number one overall pick.
Nice.
Totally agree there.
Trey, you got the 104.
Yep.
Well, considering that Baker Mayfield would have been my 102. And after John took Rosen, he would be my 103. I think, I like Sam Darnold. I think the opportunity, but I think I'm going to go with Geis. I'm going to take Darius Geis at the 104.
All right, Darius Geis. So, Peter, you've got the 105.
Oh, is it me? Shit.
Yeah.
Who's left? Let's see. We got.
Who's left? We just started.
That's it, isn't it? That's the entire. That's really only one.
It is past midnight East Coast time.
Penny is still available, Peter.
Peter, a better great stall tactic is that was a great pick.
Is far less honest.
That was a great pick. Tell us more why you made that pick.
Expand on that.
Go into detail. Could you? No, I'm trying to remember the names of all the quarterbacks, to be honest with you. Let's see, we've got Rosen, Mayfield,
quarterback.
Allen. No.
It's Darnold.
Yeah, it's got to be Sam Darnold.
Oh, you can't talk who's available during the draft. Come on.
I'm pretty sure you can scroll that on NFL.
Somebody got
no table chatter during the drafter party.
Oh, there is 100% table talk during any type of draft or auction.
That's right. And anybody that doesn't like it.
So Shane, you got the 106.
You want me to expand on my pick? You want me to talk more about my pick or something?
Shane, you have the last easy pick.
I was thinking Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard on for him anyway. So, yeah, I'll go Lamar.
Yeah.
Look at all those quarterbacks. I love it. Beautiful. I love Superflex.
Yeah, me too. And what's fun is like Superflex leagues, there's some a few outliers where they people don't value quarterbacks. So it'll be interesting if this is the truth with all Superflex leagues. Tyler, you've got the 107. In his head, and he's thinking.
It's like,
out.
No, I might, because you got to sit here and debate whether or not you want Josh Allen.
You don't.
Or
no.
Josh Allen.
Hard pass.
Yeah, that's. Well, I mean, that's the boat I was in, but the quarterback, I felt like out of place here, man. Like I wanted to be like with the cool kids, but apparently not. Okay. Good God.
Mason
Rudolph. Go with Mason Rudolph.
No, it's not Allen's Rudolph.
Oh, I don't know.
Kyle Luletta.
There you go.
I guess I'm going Sony. I may be hot, but I like Sony Michel.
It's 2 times in a row where I was hoping you just wouldn't do it, and you did it both times.
All right, because I just realized I did draft him both times. Well,
but both times right in front of me. Ryan,
you need to sign out and sign back in a different spot.
I don't know. Like, I don't really.
I'll trade you my second and third for this pick.
In a 2019 first. 2019 first. When we come back on next year and do this, you won't get the pick.
No, I want that wide receiver.
I'm still gonna go. I'll still go. I'm gonna go because I'm drafting the 108, and we're in like an 8-team league here. So I'll go Penny.
Oh God! Please let me get a pick before Peter. I want to snipe him so bad.
You're going Peter or Peter? You're going Penny?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Wow.
Man.
Okay.
That's the last pick. Who's 9? Ryan, you 9?
It's me.
Well, I think let's go through one more time.
We'll go through one more time.
With
yeah.
Superflex.
All right.
Between for me, it's between Nick Chubb and DJ Moore, and I do like wide receivers. I'm gonna go Nick Chubb.
I was gonna say if you didn't, I'm scrambling like hell to.
He's not a wide receiver
at the 110.
I think DJ Moore's my number one receiver, but I think Chubb has a potential to be very special back. So I think that you can't I mean, but I think DJ Moore is as close to a lock as you get. So it's really a tough decision for me. I might try to trade for the 110. Whoever has it, they're not going to give it to me. Is that John? Is that you?
Right?
Yeah,
Is
the
it back to
Browns
me?
are going to light it up next year and every year moving forward.
If it's back to me, it's totally DJ Moore right here.
Son of a.
Yeah. Yep.
110, DJ Moore.
You guys all have taken Moore over Chubb.
It would have been close,
No.
but I
No.
think probably.
But
No.
It'd be a no for me,
Jordan,
and it wouldn't be
Tyler?
close.
To me,
Oh, yeah.
I'll take Royce Freeman.
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, well let's move on. Okay, so it's a 111.
I got Chubb above Moore, but it's soft.
So Jordan, you're on the clock with the 111.
Oh, Royce Freeman. Sorry.
That's fine.
Royce Freeman.
Freeman. Trey,
Is it to me?
Mm-hmm.
it's to you 112.
112. I'm going to take Kerryon Johnson. Give me Carry on it. The
Oh.
112.
Carry on, Johnson.
Peter, the 201.
yeah,
I'm just assuming it's a 12-team league. I guess I don't know why I'm doing that, but
I'm actually.
Who doesn't play 14-team Superflex? Come on now.
all right, so 113.
Drafting. So it really doesn't order.
I'm gonna.
14-team Superflex would change my pick.
Then it might be Josh,
Go
it might be
restart
Josh
it.
Allen then.
Shut. I'm gonna channel the open bar here, and I'm taking Ronald Jones.
I like it. The 201
God,
like
in the second round.
Yeah.
I made it a 14-team league, John. Just to
Good for you.
Just for fun.
Josh Allen might have been my pick then over.
Yeah, I would. If it was a 14-team, I would have taken
Never.
Josh
we
Allen
didn't
over Kerryon
determine that.
Johnson.
Where this is a league, we're just making up on the fly.
Yeah. Oh, that's the
12,
best kind of
12
leagues.
teams. Let's just keep
Never drop
moving.
Allen.
But what's your end goal with taking a quarterback early in a Superflex league when your team is bad? Or assuming you didn't trade up for those picks.
What do you mean?
Well, no,
I'm sorry.
you're the
Like,
113
so
or
like- so
114.
like-
I'm guessing you just were in the championship.
Yeah, so but
add
like
a
we're
guy
early in the
outside
rounds, like
Josh
taking
Allen.
Mayfield and Darnold, like they're not going to produce right away. You're it's a lot of
It's a 14-team Superflex. It would be Barkley and then 6 quarterbacks for me, probably.
Yeah.
To be honest, like
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
Let's make it 12-team then, since that's what was the mentality then. So never mind. I'm changing that.
Yeah,
John.
12.
Yeah,
And so where were we? Was Shane? Is it you?
that's because John was me draft was a 14-man Superflex option league, and he was like, "Just get all the quarterbacks, just get all."
You're
What?
breaking up, Tyler.
Tyler,
This 13th is, but I'll allow.
Do sign language, man.
Tyler's breaking up.
I think he was saying he and I were talking about an auction that he was in for 14-team Superflex, and he jumped into it late and missed out on running backs, and I just told him, just literally buy every quarterback you can buy. Literally just buy every single one,
yeah.
and you will trade them for a running back eventually.
Yep.
Yeah. Tyler's still kind of coming in and out here. So, John, why don't you make a pick for Tyler since we can't hear him?
Oh, okay. Sure. I'm happy to be on the spot. I totally prepared for that.
Superflex Josh Allen is available.
Yeah, I honestly, if it's Superflex, I think I'm taking Josh Allen.
Do it.
You know,
It'll be fun.
he's going to be the starting quarterback in Buffalo. He has AJ McCarron in front of him. Like I've said many times with Bortles, and I've already claimed that I will have Josh Allen more than probably anybody else. I don't want to, but because nobody else likes him, I will take him. It's a super flex league. I don't care if he's good or not. I care about quarterbacks that start for their NFL
Did I
team.
just draft Josh Allen?
Yes, you did. Congratulations.
That's happy for you.
Hey, I'm going to say it.
John made
100% my pick.
That's what it took, yeah.
Hey, that was my pick.
Especially with the rushing.
I mean, in
He's gonna have a nice
Superflex,
floor. He's going to have a nice floor with the rushing.
Yeah, I mean,
we are getting late, so let's pick up the pace here because I know some people have to bounce out. We probably need to close the show down. So it's small enough for me to actually upload because I had problems last night. The show was so big that I was like I had to do some magic to make it was such a big file.
My wife says to me, she says it's no, she's never said that. Not to me, at least.
Oh man. All right, so okay,
we could
so
just stop it right here if you want. We could just stop the mock right here.
So we basically want half quarterbacks.
Yeah, actually,
what's going to happen?
I'm pretty anti-quarterback trading in Superflex leagues this year. Like, if you can trade out of those spots and give those quarterbacks up and get these guys who are veterans, like, is this quarterback class historic? Like, you kind of saw in the first round. I mean, 5 ties for like the first, like one of the top classes in the last 31 years, but it's not I don't know. I just how long until they produce? Like it's the monkey see, monkey do NFL where you think a lot of these sophomore quarterbacks with new coaches are going to come in and just crush stuff. But I don't know. It's hard for me to buy into that versus immediate production.
It depends on your team, though, Will. I mean, if maybe you're last because your quarterback situation is awful, or maybe you've got
quarterbacks were in top 5. Like your team's bad if you're having top 5 and not trading out.
What wide receivers offering you immediate production this year?
Just discount wide receivers if you don't believe in them.
No, I'm honestly asking, like, which wide receiver landed in a spot where you expect immediate production? I mean, James Washington, everybody liked him 2 days ago.
Dead.
Now he's buried, and we don't know what to do with him.
Probably. Christian Kirk's probably not the only guy that I feel like is going to be safe for solid PPR production this year. I'm not saying he's the best, but I think that just the need for receivers out there in Arizona.
I love Christian Kirk.
Well, I'll say this though. If you're trying to get out of, like, you're looking for production, then you usually go.
Well, you guys hear that? It's like Alex from Doctor Who, you know. Exterminate!
Hey, I got a quick question for Will. This is right up Will's alley. Earlier, when Bradley mentioned Jordan Akins, Will, is Jordan Akins older or younger than Calvin Ridley?
Oh, give me younger, because I don't know.
I'm going to go older.
Older.
He's 20 months older than Calvin Ridley. He's 20. He turned 26 8 days ago. People are giving Hayden Hurst a hard time. Jordan Akins was born on April the 19th, 1992. He played 4 seasons in the minor leagues baseball. So same deal. 26 years old as a rookie.
I should know who Jordan Akins was.
This is why you pay attention to other people. I didn't know who he was an hour ago, but luckily there were enough people around to give me his bio, and I'm like, oh shit, he's really old. Okay.
It's basically like Greg Olsen.
Could you imagine this game being played when Russell Wilson was drafted? He was like 25, 26 coming in the league.
That's right. Everyone else is Russell Wilson.
I knew you'd like that, Will.
Yeah, I do like just because like I didn't know literally Jordan Akins, nor did I really care about his draft pick. I'm sorry. It was real hard for me to get into it.
I'll tell you this too. A lot of people don't talk about it, but Sony Michel's not exactly a young buck either.
No. He's less than 2 months younger. He's only like 2 months younger than Calvin Ridley. So
and that's a running back
podcast that talks about it a lot.
Oh, do you, John Bosch?
No, not me. The FF Joes. FF Joes bring up that Sony Michel date of birth a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Turns out he's the first running back, and I think I'm ready. I'm ready to snatch that up. The Patriots.
Yeah, Will's on the Sony Michel train. I like it.
I don't know why I wouldn't be. I don't know why you think it's a bad thing. What you gonna do?
I think it's a good
it's a risk reward because if he fumbles early, he's just done. Like you either take that chance or not. And with the way the NFL drafts goes, it's a shit show. It was your first top 10 picks in a rookie draft, and if somebody's really uncommittal to who they want, that's an opportunity to move up.
His upside, though, in year one, the only running back that's got a higher upside in year one is Saquon Barkley. I mean, if you say if he does fumble, if he doesn't fumble and he gets 60% of the touches in that backfield, he's a running back 1 this year. I mean, that's not unreasonable at all. I'm not saying that's what I'm predicting for him, but, if you want to look at the downside of if he fumbles, if you compare that to the downside of any of these guys, if they fumble or but if you look at the upside, I think Saquon Barkley is the only running back in this that's been selected in the NFL draft so far this year that has a higher upside than Sony Michel. So
tier one, and then tier 2. That's pretty much where we're at.
I think we're overestimating somewhat everything about a Patriots running back, right? Just in general, we're having to talk ourselves into loops to believe, one, that they're going to feature a player, which they never really do outside of, Gronkowski. They don't feature any player heavily. Opportunity is everything. They've drafted them high, but they also undervalue draft picks compared to most NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't suddenly talk ourselves into Sony Michel being the second best talent-wise back of the class. I think that's, hyperbole, unless you had it before the draft. So you're getting some kind of solid running back, I'll admit that, but don't overvalue it. If you just want a solid running back, you're probably getting that Patriot style from Sony Michel, but don't talk yourself into too much over that, right?
And I think that's totally fair. I think I'm just more in on it. I hate the Patriots, but Sony Michel and the Patriots, oof, so many fantasy points. He's gonna eat them all up. He's gonna eat them all up all day.
I don't know. I almost kind of lean a little bit like with John Bosch. If you ever listen to my podcast, I'm always kind of usually siding with getting a veteran for rookie picks, just because that's just where I'm at. And I think with all of the muddiness with these, I think I'm even more inclined to just take the 1-4 or 1-5 and just see what kind of veteran I can get. I don't know who. I mean, draft team makeup, blah blah blah. But I think I'm more inclined to just kind of, I don't want to say pass this class because I think there's talent here, but I feel like it's just such a muddled mess that, at the 1-4, you have a good chance of missing. I think a lot more than usual. I mean, I feel that way. I feel like at the 1-4, I'm picking a guy, but I'm not like locked in, loaded, excited about it.
But who are you taking at the 1-4 last year?
I was going to say, that just kind of sounds like what a rookie class is. Maybe the 2018 just feel, maybe we're just...
I'd say Dalvin Cook
right?
every time. I mean, last year was the same 4 people, right? I mean, I don't feel like there's the same 4 people in this class. Like, you literally took Leonard Fournette, Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, and Corey Davis in whatever order you wanted. I don't feel like that's...
Oh, I feel like Mixon mixed himself in there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Mixon. But I mean...
And even Mike Williams, who I took at a 105 in a rookie draft, was just horrible decision making. But
I don't know. I don't feel like we have that set 4 or 5. I don't feel that way.
I don't feel we have a set 3 or 2. Like, I think we have set 1 in this rookie class. And it's fun.
But then look what happened to those 4, right? We had this locked-in class. We felt a lot higher on everyone after 2017. And now, just before this draft at least, like people were trying to trade Mixon for the 1-3, one of you said. So maybe I just think we're... the landing spots has just made us more realistic about our expectations for rookie picks. That's not a bad thing. It just means we can't overhype ourselves to think we're drafting Le'Veon Bell when we're really drafting, Lamar Miller.
But and I guess that also just goes overall philosophy. I mean, I'll take Mixon over the 1-3 even before this draft, even before the landing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who I am as a player. I mean, I know that there's upside, and there's and it's fun to talk about these rookies. But I mean, just like you said, I keep getting told, oh well, he's the next. Okay, that's fine. I'll take my Joe Mixon. I'll take my person that has done this at the college level. And I just feel like last year there was more tiers, and I could be wrong, but I feel like there's more debate about this class than I think there was last year.
Yeah, again, I just think it's because we're usually higher on them without good reason to, based on how often they actually become elite fantasy starters. I'm agreeing with you. I just think 2018 feels more realistic, not less good players.
This is probably how it's
yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, because I think everybody thinks it's going to be like it was last year, that it's just the top 5 are just gold.
Well, forgetting about 3 of those players weren't first-round picks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I mean, you got to also, we can't be short-term memory. I mean, 2 years before that, I got Laquan Treadwell at the 102 and cried. Like, was so excited about that. And that happens. And then another league at the 104, I got Corey Coleman. That was 2 years ago and was stoked. I mean,
they were both hyped. We both felt, lots of people felt confident. I'm not Treadwell, but lots of people felt confident about Corey Coleman at least. And just because we don't feel confident doesn't mean there's going to be any less good players. We're just, we're
right ones.
Yeah, devoid of that hype is probably a good thing.
That's the kind of like base. The thing I was chatting about saying is, if you're going to move up, now this draft has muddied things up so much. It makes it fun for if you have if you've done your research and done everything, if you feel like you can move up to a spot and you're in a league where people are no longer valuing these spots where they could be besides the 101, there's gonna be a good chance to go get your player that you believe in. And there's going to be some huge values that come out of this draft. It happens every year for the most part. And you just have to decide your spot and go for it. Maybe wait until your rookie draft until pick 3 or 4 in the first round. But there's going to be, we were chatting through our Superflex draft and through the draft before, it's going to be so much fun. If you have a guy that you really want to get and you think you really believe in, this is the cheapest I think it's been in a while to go up and get that person.
That's true. And I think this is going to be fun. I think that there's going to be some tough decisions to make. I feel like the last year, like I was talking about, there really wasn't – I mean, there was talent there, but I felt like I just kind of came into the drafts. I saw where I was at, and I'm like, yep, this is about where I put this guy. And I just clicked him and moved on. Or I maybe threw out hey, this picks on the board. Okay, no takers. All right, I'll take this guy. I feel like now, even in this mock, I know it's early still. I know we had digested some, but I mean, there were some times where I was really just sitting there man, I'm at the 105. Sonny Michel's there, but so is Chubb, or whatever. And it's just oh man, this is murky.
Yeah, you really. Sorry, man. Yeah,
no, that was it.
You really got to call your shot, pretty much, and that's what I think John was saying as well. You got to call your shot at every pick. There's this either-or decision, and you have to just declare one way or the other, and that's the way every pick feels.
All right, guys, we should probably end this. So, do you guys want to promote yourselves, throw out your Twitter handle, anything like that? Nah, our listeners know where you guys are. We'll put in the show notes. We'll put your Twitter handles and all that fun stuff. So, anyway, I think that's it. So. Without any final thoughts, we're going to get out of here. This was the Drafter Party Day 2. Thanks for joining us. We are the Fantasy Joes. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.
Boom, boom, boom.
Go back and listen to Draft Party 1.
The Drafter Party?
Yeah, Drafter Party. I'm sorry. Go back and hit that previous episode, guys.
I think this was so much more fun.
That's right.
I thought you said the drag party. I was like, oh, man.
That's something totally different. All right. See you, everybody.
Drafter Party. I forgot the official lingo.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.